We've reached the second week of the 2024 Australian Open and only two top 10 women's seeds remain. Now this is the WTA I was used to before last year.
Sorry. Catch it, Star.
Hi, my name is Christian Basnight and welcome back to my YouTube channel. The top Aussie Open women's seeds continue to drop like flies in Melbourne, including the world number 1 Iga Swiatek. The Polish woman lost to 19-year-old Czech Linda Noskova 3-6, 6-3, 6-4. Talking a bit about the match and how Noskova pulled off the big upset, it seemed like regularly scheduled program for the Polish woman at first, as she saved a couple of early break points in the first set before getting the long break she needed to close out Noskova in that opener. Noskova was getting killed in terms of the second serve points won, as she only won 29% of points off the second serve. Her first serve points won was still relatively high, 83%, but her second serve was just kind of weak, and it sat up to where Iga could attack and dictate the points from there on out. Now in the second set, Swiatek had break points at both 2-all and 3-all. Iga was unable to put the return back in play on both occasions, and Noskova escaped with some good serving after that. Staying close in the scoreline helped Noskova a lot, who ended up breaking back at love, playing an excellent game. She took advantage of some missed first serves from Iga too, as she was able to kind of attack and then dictate the points from there on out and kind of pressure the Polish woman from the ground. Collins and Kennan often had trouble whenever they served for the set against Iga here in this tournament, but not Noskova. She held with ease thanks to her making, I think, all of her first serves when she served it out at 5-3 in the second set. As you can see from the stats, Noskova was far more effective on second serve. That was key for her, and she also improved her first serve percentage, which made a big difference. Meanwhile, Iga's second serve points won percentage dropped considerably, and Noskova started timing that return a lot better and imposed more pressure on the world number 1. Now in the third set, Noskova got the first break to go up 2-1, but Iga had a talk with her team soon after, and they likely told her to be more aggressive, and she was. She broke back, I think at love. I wasn't exactly sure. I think at love, and then at 3-all, however, she lost her timing on the ground strokes and was just not committing as much. Sometimes whenever Iga is not playing as well, she kind of pulls up off the shots, and the balls tend to fly a lot. And that's what we saw last night or tonight. These kind of relatively uncharacteristic unforced errors enabled Noskova to then get another break. Up 4-3 with the break advantage, Noskova rose to the occasion and made all of her first serves in that game, and she had 2 backhand winners to hold at 15. Iga really didn't play a bad game there. Noskova really excelled and honestly was kind of a little bit unplayable at times. Iga did have an opener in that final 10th game of the decider as she went up 30-love, and Noskova, you could tell that she was feeling the pressure as she missed, I believe, her first 4 first serves of that game. Up 30-love, Iga made 2 poor unforced errors, which helped Lindy, who then found her first serve, and as at 30-all, she served an ace up the tee, and then at 40-30, she hit a service winner, basically to then seal the biggest win of her career. Now, while I wasn't expecting Noskova to go all the way and pull off the upset, I knew that she could definitely cause Iga some problems. She's a very talented young player who seems to really enjoy the Australian conditions. Last year, she made the Adelaide 500 final where she beat Ons Jabeur en route, and then this year she reached the semifinals of Brisbane. A lot of people thought that Swiatek would kind of run away with the tournament after she came through that tough second round thriller against Danielle Collins where she was down a double break 4-1 in the third set. I was kind of weary about those prospects because even though we've seen plenty of people in the past like Naomi Osaka who their back was against the wall in the earlier stages and then going to win the tournament, we've seen that before, but I wasn't so sure about that for Iga because of how she didn't look at 100% physically in that Collins match. She had that knee kind of band around her, but then she hopped on Twitter saying stuff like it ain't over until it's over. Then I was like, oh my gosh, Iga slam number 5 is basically sealed at this point. Well, not totally, but you know, that sent a message to me that she was going to come for the title, and she didn't. Noskova was too good today, and Iga did not play a bad match at all. I honestly feel overall it was just a brutal draw for Swiatek, who really didn't even play poorly throughout the tournament, like I just said. I thought she was solid, but perhaps coming up against 3 back-to-back dangerous floaters was just too much of a challenge. The loss snaps an 18-match win streak for Swiatek, who hadn't lost a match since September 2023. She should be very proud of her game the last few months, which saw her win a title in Beijing, the 1000, the WTA finals without dropping a set there, and then going undefeated. I believe she won 4 or 5 matches at the United Cup, playing excellent tennis there. Now, focusing on Noskova, I have to give give her credit because she played an unbelievable match, and I'm really excited that she's finally showcasing some of the talent that we've been looking for the past, year or so. I know she had that early great start to 2023, like I mentioned before. She kind of tailed off a bit, so it's great to see her come back and showcase that big power ball striking tennis. She has that effortless power, and her serve is okay. It's not the best serve, but she really is a good solid spot server. If Collins had her serve, or if Collins was as clutch as she was in the latter stages of that match, she too would have beaten Swiatek. The serve made the biggest difference to me from Noskova. Of course, like I mentioned, the ground game is important. Linda did a great job of taking time away from Swiatek and really pressuring her. Iga, of course, as we know, she's great whenever she has time. She's unbelievable. However, when she has to deal with pace, especially coming to that relatively weaker forehand side, that's where she has some problems. And the forehand for Iga has not been on the entire tournament, and Noskova was kind of able to expose that, especially in the latter stages of the match. Now, of course, Iga's departure shakes up the women's draw big time. Elina Svitolina, Victoria Azarenka, Jasmine Paolini, and Qinwen Zhang are the 4 remaining seeds in the top section, and they all will play players ranked outside the top 45 in the 4th round. On paper, they are huge favorites, but we could be in store for some more upsets. Svitolina, of course, plays the dangerous Noskova, which will be a step up in class for the Ukrainian, seeing as though she hasn't lost more than 5 games in her first 3 matches thus far. Azarenka, meanwhile, has been well tested throughout the event, beating dangerous Italian Camila Giorgi in round 1, talented Danish superstar Clara Townsend in the 2nd round, and then slam champion Lena Ostapenko recently in the 3rd round. Azarenka, speaking about the Ostapenko match, did a very great job to close this match out in straight sets because it looked like it was going to 3. Ostapenko was up 5-2 in the first set, and I believe she had a set point, or no, she was serving for the set at 5-3, but then Azarenka just fought back and handed the Latvian her second loss of the year, and both of those losses that Yelena has tallied on the year have come to Azarenka, so I'm sure she will not be happy with that. Azarenka, she's been serving really well this tournament. I've been very impressed, and she's been serving a lot of aces and unreturnable serves. So I think of her serve has been one of the Achilles heel, her biggest Achilles heel throughout her career. Now that serve is on and popping, she can go all the way, and I think this is her chance, to be honest, to finally claim that coveted 3rd Grand Slam title. Azarenka now plays Ukrainian qualifier Diana Yastremska, who took down 2 seeds thus far this tournament, first Marketa Vondrousova and then Emma Navarro in the 3rd round. Yastremska has kind of been around for a long time. This is her second week appearance in a major. Her first came in 2019, so she's been struggling with injuries and then just game-wise, so it's great to see her finally tap back into her potential. Big ups to 26 seed Jasmine Paolini. The Italian is into her first slam second week after she beat Anna Blinkova, the woman who took down Elena Rybakina in that epic 3rd set tiebreak thriller. Paolini next plays Russian Anna Kalinskaya, who I knew was going to be dangerous. She took down Sloane Stephens after Sloane was up 3-1 in the 3rd set. Stephens, obviously, as I just mentioned, she had a great opportunity to win this one and go deeper in the tournament. She was even snacking on some smoothies and sushi during the match, so possibly she wasn't feeling 100% there, but hopefully she can have another big slam breakthrough later in the year because I believe she's long overdue for that 2nd slam title. 12th seed Qinwen Zhang survived a stern test against her compatriot Yafeng Wang, winning 10-8 in the 3rd set tiebreaker. She'll be the favorite against 95th ranked Osine Dodin. Don't overlook Dodin though. The 27-year-old Frenchman is a very solid ball striker and has yet to drop a set this tournament. I am interested to see how or which women will handle the nerves better on this occasion, as this is Dodin's first slam second week appearance and will be the biggest match of her career. Meanwhile, Zhang, she did reach the US Open quarterfinals last year, but this is an excellent opportunity for her to go even further, with her being, I think she's the highest seed remaining in the top half. Yeah, she's the highest seed remaining in the top half, so that's a great opportunity for her to, not only make the quarterfinals, semifinals, but make the finals. I think that we will see Noskova, Azarenka play in the quarterfinals, and then I have Paolini taking on Zhang. Looking at the bottom half, Coco Gauff notoriously has a very favorable draw. The 4th seed now will not have to face a seeded opponent at least until the semifinals, after Beatrice Haddad-Maia failed to qualify Maria Timofeeva in the 3rd round. Gauff has yet to drop a set this tournament, as she recently routed compatriot Alicia Parks Love in 2. Coco really is such a tough player to face because first she can garner many free easy points off her serve. Her serve has become such a huge weapon over the past few years. And then 2, she's a solid returner. Her backhand is world class, probably the best backhand on tour. Her forehand, obviously, we know is not as strong as the backhand, but it's still solid, and it's improved throughout the past few months. And also, it can trouble opponents because of the heaviness of the forehand. Her backhand is so flat, and combat that with the heavy, sometimes loopy forehand. It can be tough tactically to face Coco. And then most importantly, I feel, is the athleticism and movement of Gauff, being able to get so many balls back in play. We saw with Parks. Parks had Gauff on the ropes multiple times with chances to finish out points, but Coco, the pressure she imposes on our opponents getting that last or that next ball back in play, it can cause players to self-destruct. So she's very, very tough to beat. People have been complaining a lot about Gauff's draw on Twitter, and yes, it is vastly easier compared to what Iga had to face, but she was facing major threats in that 4th round. Anastasia Potapova and Caroline Garcia, who could have faced Coco in the 4th round, they both had winning heads-to-heads over the American. And then 2, Naomi Osaka was another potential opponent, and Osaka, of course, is Osaka. She's a 4-time slam champion. And Coco cannot help that those players lost. Coco did what she had to do, won her matches. Really just got to beat who's in front of you. That's it at the end of the day. You know, there's still a possibility, obviously, that Coco can lose these matches, even though I highly doubt it. She's going to be the heavy favorite, especially against Freck, who will be making her first Slam second week appearance here. Freck, she's 26-year-old. She's a Polish woman. Doesn't have that many weapons to her game. She's a solid baseliner overall, but so is Coco. Coco has more weapons, and I expect her to just kind of steamroll this match, not only due to her superior game, but also having much more experience on the stage. Now on to the other players in that little section. Maria Timofeeva has been playing excellent tennis this event. She took down Caroline Wozniacki and of course Haddad Maia. Timofeeva has a lot of talent there. She kind of, one person said that she reminds them of Simona Halep, and I definitely can see it. She's a very sound ball striker, and she doesn't give opponents many freebies. You have to beat her, and she honestly wore down Caroline Wozniacki, which is very hard to do, because even though Caroline is like 30 years old, she's an incredibly fit opponent. But Timofeeva hung in there, hung tough, and she's a fit player too, and she's willing to stay out there and grind. I think that she will be the slight favorite, Timofeeva, against Marta Kostyuk, who she faces next. Kostyuk has played nothing but 3-setters thus far. Speaking about the Ukrainian briefly, it's great to see her back in the Slam second week. She's a talented player too, so we'll see if she can capitalize on this opportunity as well. Playing devil's advocate to the Coco's easy draws unfair crowd, these players are likely not bringing their top games in the latter rounds against Gauff, because it is a new experience for them to be playing this deep in a Slam on the biggest stages in the world, tennis stages in the world, and with more on the line. Coco can handle the pressure, even though she's only 19 years old. She has much more experience than anyone left in her little section up into the quarterfinals. Nobody has reached the Slam quarterfinal except for her in that little section. And then also, as we saw with Parks, Coco has really a special talent for bringing out the worst in players. We saw that too with Sabalenka in the US Open finals. It's, again, because she's just so tough to play. And I really think a lot of it comes down to Gauff's talent. You know, you can hit on her all you want, but at the end of the day, she just has a lot of talent and a lot of potential, and I commend her for working with what she's got. The forehand still is not that big of a strength, but she's used her other strengths in her game to excel her to the point where she's honestly, she might be the title favorite at this point, honestly, even though Sabalenka is playing better and Anisimova too is a threat. I'll get into that kind of in a little bit. But yeah, speaking about the openness of the field, I kind of miss the messiness on the WTA Tour. We get to see some newer faces, and it really shows the depth of tennis too, because all of these women in the top 10 are incredibly talented. The last two sections of the bottom half are less messy. 16-year-old phenom Mira Andreeva will take on 9th seed Barbora Krejcikova. Andreeva is coming off an incredible comeback victory over Diane Perry. She was down 5-1 in that third set, and she faced a match point, but she was able to claw back and seal it in a deciding tiebreak. Barbora Krejcikova also was tested in her third round against Aussie home favorite Storm Standers. Andreeva leads the head-to-head against Krejcikova 2-0. They faced for the first time at Wimbledon, I believe in the second round, where Andreeva was up, I believe, 6-3 to love before Krejcikova pulled out due to retirement. And then they most recently faced off at the China Open, where Andreeva moved past comfortably 6-2, 6-2. So even though Krejcikova has a little bit more experience at this deeper stage of a major and Andreeva will be contending for her first major quarterfinal appearance, I think that game-wise, this match should suit her more. Now, the most interesting fourth round of the entire women's draw is between Aryna Sabalenka and Amanda Ansiimova, which is for some reason being played on Margaret Court Arena. Anisimova actually leads the head-to-head against Sabalenka 4-1, and she dominated the Belarusian the last time they played on Margaret Court back in 2019 in the third round at the Australian Open. Their following three affairs were all on clay, with Amanda taking down Aryna in Charleston and Madrid in 2022 before Sabalenka got her leg back in their latest affair at Rome. This is going to be a very tough match for Sabalenka, to be honest, because Amanda can go pound to pound with her and she won't be overpowered by the Belarusian like some of Sabalenka's previous opponents have been this tournament. Anisimova can also take time away from Sabalenka, which is very key because the Belarusian often struggles whenever she's a bit more rushed from the ground. Aryna is coming into this one high on confidence. She hasn't lost more, I believe, than 6 games in any match thus far this tournament, and she recently scored her first double bagel in a slam, taking down seeded 28-seed Sarenko in round 3. Anisimova, meanwhile, is still on the comeback trail, but still managed to earn excellent straight sets wins over Linda Noskova, a seed, and then Paula Badosa, who looked very strong herself. So Anisimova is coming into this playing probably high peak level tennis for her standards. Honestly, I feel like the way Anisimova is playing, she can take this entire tournament. I think Aryna has the edge with the experience factor, and she excels on the big stages in the slams as of late. Anisimova has only made 2 slam quarterfinals and does sometimes struggle when it is time to close out these matches. We saw in her third round against Paula Badosa when she was struggling for the opening set, she was struggling physically, holding her side, and I honestly think that she was having a panic attack. So that's something to look out for there if the match gets tight. The biggest thing for me is the fact that Anisimova is still very early on in her comeback trail, so I'm unsure of if her body will be able to withstand so much tennis and the challenge of facing such a big ball striker in Aryna Sabalenka. So after this extended time away from the sport. And then we cannot deny the fact that 2022 Sabalenka is vastly different from 2024 Sabalenka. Her serve is much improved, as well as her fitness and movement. So for those reasons, I will go with Sabalenka to take this one in 3 sets. That's it from our 4th round Australian Open women's preview, and let me know who you think will come through to make the finals in that top half now that boss lady Iga is out. My pick personally is Victoria Azarenka. Also, who are you picking in that big bait battle between Amanda Ansiimova and Aryna Sabalenka? Make sure y'all subscribe and click the notification bell too, so you're notified whenever I post more Aussie Open update videos. Thank you for watching. I'm Christian Bass Knight once again, and I'll catch y'all on the next one.